Hello everyone, how are you? Hope all of you are fine. Today we'll be discussing about Iupac nomenclature, which is a very important and a basic things in organic chemistry. And if you are there in class 10 preparing for board examination, or you are in class 11, okay, or in other 12 or any other classes, so this video lectures is obviously it's going to help you out. Okay. So today we will be discussing about the basic things, the basic rules related to the Iupac nomenclature. Okay. So first let us know what is the meaning of Iupac. Now Iupac stands for International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So they set up all the rules related to the chemistry, okay, and if any new discoveries is being made, they only set up the rules, whatever the hypothesis, okay. So this is an organization they used to set up the entire thing regarding the chemistry. So Iupac nomenclature, the meaning of nomenclature, the name only says nomenclature, it's a culture where we name, or a naming culture, right? So where we name a specific compound, specifically here we will be talking about the organic compounds, okay, where we will see few set of rule we will be following in naming a compound. Now, so let us move on to it. Iupac nomenclature has basic three components. The first is word root. Second is the suffix. Third is the prefix. So these are the basic three things which will be required for naming any type of compounds, okay, in the Iupac nomenclature. So Iupac nomenclature, okay, these are the basic three things we have to know. Without knowing this we cannot name, okay. So the first is the word rule, second is your suffix, and the third is your prefix. So about which one by one I will be discussing, okay. So today I will discuss about the word root and the basic rules how to just begin with the nomenclature part, okay. It's required time obviously and practice. So word root, what does the word root gives us the idea about? The word root gives you the idea about the number of carbon in the longest chain, that is the parent chain. So the word root gives the idea about the number of carbon in the parent chain, okay. So what are the basic word root which we will be using, okay. So for if the longest chain is having only one carbon, then we will be using the word root meth, okay. If it is 2 carbon, then we will be using eth. If it is 3 carbon, we will use prop. If it is 4 carbon, we will use but. If it is 5 carbon, we will use pent. Say for 6 carbon, we will use hex. 7 carbon, we can use sept or hept, whichever you feel like. 8 we will use oct. 9 we will use non, and 10 we will use dec. 11 we can use undec. 12 we can use dudec, okay. So like that it goes on. So this gives us the idea. This is the word root. What are these? These are the word roots. So these word roots are going to give you the idea about how many number of carbon are there in the longest chain, okay, in the longest chain. Very soon you will see that there are some set of rules which we are going to follow, okay. So there you have to select the longest chain, okay. So when we will select the longest chain, that word root actually give you the idea about the longest chain or the number of carbon present in the longest chain, okay. So you need to, first thing you need to do is that you need to remember this word roots, okay. So once again I am reading it out. If it is 1 carbon, then we use meth. If it is 2 carbon, we use eth. If it is 3 carbon, we use prop. If it is 4, we use but. If it is 5, we use pent. For 6 carbon, we use hex. For 7, we use sept or hept. For 8 carbon, we will be using oct. For 9, non, 10, dec, 11, undec, and 12, dodec. If you learn till this, I think it's enough. Okay. So first thing is that you will go through the word root. Okay. So word root give you the idea about the number of carbon. Now what about this suffix? Yes. What about this suffix? Now when you write your name, say for example you are writing, say for my name is Nabarun Bhattacharjee. So I use a suffix, a first part of the name and a second part. Second part is a Bhattacharjee here. Okay, so like that, every name also have some second part, right? So that part is the suffix. Now basically this suffix give you the idea about the functional group. Okay, so the suffix will give you the idea about the functional group. So I am writing it here. The suffix, from suffix they give us the idea about the functional group, about which I will be discussing in the upcoming lecture. Today only I will discuss the word root, and as I said that I will teach you how only the basic rules we will be discussing for today. Okay, and suffix about this functional group we will be discussing in the upcoming lecture. Okay, so what is a functional group? Functional groups are a group of molecules which regulate or control whenever they are getting attached or they get attached to the longest chain. They control the entire properties of that longest chain. So that is why they are known as functional group. Okay, so the suffix will give you the idea about the functional group. Okay, so I hope you have noted this down. Now suffix are of two type again. Now there are two type of suffix. One is the primary suffix, another is the secondary suffix. Okay, so there are two types of suffix. One is primary suffix, another is the secondary suffix. Now what is this primary suffix? Primary suffix you have to remember because they are very few in number. The first is ane, second is ene, and third is yne. So basically these three are known as primary suffix: ane, ene, yne. So ane represent the alkane family, which are saturated hydrocarbon. Ene and yne, they belongs to the unsaturated hydrocarbon. Okay, so ane, ene, yne, these three are known as primary suffix. Okay, and secondary suffix actually comes from the functional group. So we will be getting the secondary suffix from the functional group. A small example I am giving you. For example, say if you write OH. Now OH represent which functional group? Alcohol, right? It represent the functional group alcohol. It represent the functional group alcohol. Now what is the suffix here? All. So this all represent that the name, if with the name we have this all, then it shows that it belongs to the alcohol family. Understood? So like that. So we use secondary suffix only for the functional groups. Understood all of you? Okay. Now what about the prefix? What about the prefix? So prefix, the name only says prefix. So let me write it here. Okay. So prefix, pre mean which comes before, right? Fix. So sometimes we write before our name we give some title or tag, okay, Sri or like that. Okay, so like that, if with the nomenclature part there are prefix also we use. Okay, so which comes before the naming part, the main part. Okay, before the suffix it comes. Okay, excuse me. So prefix gives you the idea of what? Prefix gives us the idea about the substituent, about the substituents. Now my dear students, what are these substituents? Actually, the substituents are what if when we'll be selecting the longest chain, whatever which is out of the longest chain, which is not under the longest chain, they are considered as the substituent. Okay, so most of the time the substituents are alkyl group, so represented by R, okay, and they can also represent the functional group. Now when they will represent the functional group, that is the question. If there are more than one functional group in a compound, okay, then we use prefix for the functional group which is lower in priority, okay, which is lower in priority. Okay, say for example, if I am using two functional groups, say COOH and OH, okay, so this is lower, so I'll be using hydroxy as the prefix, okay, instead of alcohol, okay, and this is higher, so I'll be using oic acid as the suffix for this group. Okay, so at that time when two functional groups are there in a single compound, okay, then we can go for using prefix. Understood? So these are the basic things. It will get crystal clear like water, okay, once we start discussing with the example. Okay, so these are the basic idea which I have given. So let's start with few examples, so make it much more clear, right? Okay, so let us start with taking few examples, right? So through the examples we'll also discuss the rules, and these require practice, my dear students. So if you want to learn it, then you need to practice it also, these rules. Okay, so let's start with taking a simple example, okay, let's start. Say suppose I have taken, you know, carbon is tetravalent, right? Carbon is tetravalent. Tetravalent means its valency is 4, isn't it? Its valency is 4. Okay, so here how to count the number of bond? Say this is the one bond, these are all covalent bond, my dear students. So this is covalent bond, this is one bond, 2, 3, 4, like this you can count. Okay, so for the next one I'll count like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here also it goes on the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is you can see the carbon to carbon, they are getting attached to one after the another carbon. And what is this known as? This is known as catenation. This property of carbon is very important. This is known as catenation, right? So here what I am doing, basically we start with the hydrogen. See, these are all hydrogen. Okay, you can put hydrogen over here. So this is a formula I have written. Okay, how to write the name of this compound? Okay, so here first thing is that you need to select the longest chain. Okay, you need to select the longest chain. So 1, 2, 3, since there is no substituent here. Now what is substituent we'll also understand. Okay, so here you see 1, 2, 3. What is the word root for this? This is the longest chain. 1, 2, 3. I am making it as a box, you can see. Okay, this is the longest chain. Now there is a rule for selecting the longest chain. You have to select the longest chain in such a way that no carbon should be counted twice. You cannot count any carbon as twice, or there is no question of coming back. Okay, so like that you have to select a longest chain. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3, because this is a very simple compound, you can see here. So 1, 2, 3, this is the longest chain. Now what does this longest chain give us the idea? What does the longest chain gives us the idea? Okay, it gives us the idea about the word root. Okay, so what will be the word root? Here we have 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon. So what is the word root for 3 carbon, my dear students? Yes, it is prop. Okay, it is prop. Right. Now, this type of compound, here we do not have any substituent. Never consider hydrogen as a substituent. No, hydrogen is not a substituent. You have to substitute hydrogen, then only there can be a substituent, which I mean, I have to substitute this hydrogen, and then I can put some group over here, then it will be considered as a substituent. Yes, substituent means you are substituting. So what you are substituting? You have to substitute the hydrogen. So in this case, there is no substituent. Okay. Now as per the rule, we always name the substituent first. Then comes your word root. Okay, if there is prefix, we'll write the prefix obviously. Okay, so you can also write the prefix. Then comes the word root plus suffix. Okay, so suffix will always come at the end. Understood? So if there is any substituent, we'll always finish it up first with the substituent part. But here we do not have any substituent. So in this case, we can directly go for the word root and the suffix part. Okay. Now what is the word root here? The word root is prop. Is there any double bond, triple bond in between the carbon? Isn't it showing the alkane group CnH2n plus 2? This group represent alkane group, my dear student. Okay. So here, what is the primary suffix? We are getting ane. So this represent, you see the formula. Okay, if I am writing here C3H2 into 3 plus 2. Now what is this? C3H, so you can see C3H8. Isn't it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hydrogen we are getting here? Okay, so this represent the formula propane. Yes, it represent the formula propane. So we will write prop. Prop is what? Word root plus what is the primary suffix? Primary suffix is, yes, ane. So this become propane. So this is how we can start on with. If there is no substituent, given, okay, no functional group, no substituent is given, directly you write the word root and the primary suffix you can write. Okay, or if functional group is given, say if functional group is given, then also directly word root plus secondary suffix you can write. If functional group is given and no substituent is there, mean no substituent but functional group is directly attached with the main chain. Okay, so in that case also word root plus secondary suffix we can use. You will see with the example. Okay, we'll discuss. So this is the first thing I have shown you that. Okay, so let us take another example. The more of the number of examples we'll discuss, the more clear it will be. Okay, so let us take another. Say I have taken a propane only. Okay, again I have taken propane. Now this time what I have done is I would like to remove one of the hydrogen. I would like to remove one of the hydrogen. Mean I would like to substitute. I would like to remove the hydrogen with some another carbon here, say another group. Okay, understood? So let's see what happened. Now in this case it will look like this. Okay, so you can see the 3 carbons are arranged, and with that I have substituted one hydrogen and I put over there a carbon. Okay. Now, so what is the first thing you are going to do? The first thing which you are going to do is that selection of the longest chain. Yes. So first we have to select the longest chain. Right. So which is the longest chain? 1, 2, 3. This can be a longest chain, or you can go for like this 1, 2, 3. So the best is go for the straight. Okay, it's not necessary that we have to take the straight chain. There is nowhere it is mentioned that you have to go for selecting a straight chain. Nowhere. Okay, you have to select the longest chain, but that's it. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3. Say I have selected this as the longest chain. Okay, now what does the longest chain give us the idea of? The longest chain gives us the idea of the word root. So once you select the longest chain, you get the word root. So what is the word root? Here, myth, eth, prop. So I am getting the word root prop. Yes, we got the word root prop here. Now, if any atoms or molecules are attached to the main chain or they are not in the main chain, then they are known as substituent. Okay, because I have substituted the hydrogen, isn't it? And then I put the carbon over here. So they are known as substituent. Now, what is the nature of this substituent, my dear students? The nature of the substituent is here alkyl group. Yes, they are alkyl group. In maximum of the cases, they are alkyl group. Right. Now, so which means, what is this? This substituent, this is a substituent, right? So what is the nature of this substituent? They are alkyl group. Now alkyl group are represented by R and they have a general formula CnH2n plus 1. Okay, so they have a general formula as well, CnH2n plus 1. So alkyl group, they are represented by the R. Okay, now what is the name of this substituent? Yes, that is another important question, that how to write the name of the substituent. Okay, we have identified the substituent. Now how to write the name of this substituent? Okay, now for this again another suffix we will be using YL. For the substituent you can see another suffix we will be using, that is a YL. Okay, now how to name a substituent? It's very simple. What you have to do is that first find the number of carbon, that is again for substituent word root plus YL. That we can do, is very easy, right? So how many number of carbon is here? 1 carbon. So for 1 carbon we are having meth in this case and you add YL. So the name of this substituent is methyl. Methyl. Okay, because 1 carbon is there. Okay, and it's very simple how to put the hydrogen. Just now I have shown you. So 1 bonding is already common. Okay, so it required 3 more bonding. Yes, 1, 2, 3. You see, count it. 1 already done, given. So 2, 3, 4. So here I will put another hydrogen like this. Got my point? Okay, understood? Okay, so this is the way we name the substituent, right? This is the way we name the substituent. So part by part we are discussing in details. Okay, so now finally, what are the things which is required? Yes, numbering, which is another important thing. You have to mention the number to which number of carbon atom the substituent is attached to. You have to give an address. Now these addresses are known as locants. You have to locate. So that is why they are known as locants. Okay. So we have to give the numbering. Okay. So how to do the numbering? Yes. So always while numbering our longest chain, we have to keep in our mind that the substituent should get the minimum numbering or the minimum locant, or the if more and more substituents are there, more than one substituents are there, then we go for summation rule. I'll teach you. Okay. See, in this case, suppose I mark this from 1, 2, 3. From this side I have started the numbering 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you have started the numbering from this side 1, 2, 3. Then the locant for this substituent is the number 2 carbon, that is the second carbon. The name Iupac name is in such a way that from the name you can frame the structure. Understood? So every details has to be given over there or has to be there in the nomenclature. Okay. So everything whatever I required to name this formula I have got. Already I have got. Now it's time to write the name. Yes. So let me write it here. I'm writing it here. The first thing, see what I said, what is the rule? First you have to write the name of the substituent name, numbering, it has to be done first. You have to begin always with the substituent. Okay, so what is the substituent name, my dear student? Methyl. Now what is the position of the methyl? What is the locant? 2. So I'll start with the position of the substituent. Okay, so here 2 is the substituent, 2 is the locant, 2 is the locant of the substituent. Now a very important thing is that to know that never use comma anywhere. You cannot use a comma, okay, while writing a name, and anywhere you cannot use a hyphen also. Okay, there is a specific rule. Always give hyphen whenever you write any number. Okay, so whenever you are writing any number and then you are writing some alphabet or you are about to write the alphabet, always separate it with a hyphen. Comma only you will use when two numbers are given, say 2, 2, 2, 3, like that. Okay, otherwise do not use the comma. Okay, so I am explaining also while writing the name. This is very important. These explanations are very important. You need to understand, because there are thousands and thousands of nomenclature can be given. If you do not understand, if you try to simply mug up, then it is impossible. Like that we can never grip on this or never we cannot have a grip on that Iupac nomenclature. Okay, so you need to understand. So 2, after 2 I will give an hyphen. Okay, because now I will write some alphabet, right? So as a rule, what did I say? That first I will give the name of the substituent. So 2, here we have the substituent methyl. So I'll write methyl. Okay, I'll start the name as you start the name with a capital letter. So here also we'll be starting the name with a capital letter. 2-methyl. Is there any substituent? No more substituent is here. Okay, so what is the rule? First the substituent, then word root, then the suffix. Okay, so already 2-methyl I have written, nothing is there here. Okay, so I will directly move on to the word root. So what is the word root, my dear students? It is prop. So prop. Now what is the suffix here we will use? See, there is no double bond or triple bond, no functional group in this chain. Yes, so this is a simple alkane family, ANE family. Okay, because there is no double bond or triple bond present in between the carbon. So I will be writing ANE. So the name is 2-methyl propane. Finally, the name is 2-methyl propane. I hope you understood. Okay, so like that we can move on. Okay, so let's discuss another example. Say I will modify the same with more substituent and see that what happens. Okay, suppose again I took 3 carbon, right? So this time what I have done is that I have placed one more carbon here, one more carbon here. Okay, 2 carbon I have placed, which mean I have substituted 2 hydrogen obviously, right? Okay, so finally you can give the count the number of hydrogen or count the number of bond to put the hydrogen simple. So 1 is already given, 2, 3, this is 4. So already this carbon 1, 2, 3, 4 already done. So no hydrogen for this carbon. Now for this 1, 2, 3 and already the 4th is given. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4. So like this you will count and you will give the hydrogen. Okay. Now we have to select the longest chain, right? So let us select the longest chain first. 1, 2, 3. This can be the longest chain. You can go like this also, 1, 2, 3. You can go 1, 2, 3. This also you can go. Okay, so I am showing you either you can select this tree 1, 2, 3 straight, 1, 2, 3. This also you can go for 1, 2, 3. This also you can go for. So the longest chain here we are getting 3. Now maybe in your mind it is going that why not this like this. Okay, if you select like this, see what will be the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cannot come back while counting the longest chain. Understood? So we cannot take this in the longest chain. If you are thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, no, that also you cannot do, because 1, 2, 3, if you go for 4 here, again you are going through this, right? So you cannot go back. So while selecting the longest chain, we need to be very much clear that I have to select the longest chain in such a way that I will not go back again. I will not count the same carbon twice. Understood? So this is my longest chain. So I have marked the longest chain. Now once you mark the longest chain, the second step is the numbering. Yes. Now you have to do the numbering part. Okay. Now from which side should I start doing the numbering? Should I start from this side? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then what will happen? Okay. If I start from this side also, you see the substituent. Where is the substituent, my dear students? In the second carbon. How many substituent this formula is having? 2 substituent. Yes, one is here and another is here. 2 substituents are there, isn't it? 2 substituents are there. But these 2 substituents, they are attached to the same carbon atom. Yes, they are attached to the same carbon atom. That means their locants are common, but their identity are different. Yes, when you will write the name, you have to mention this locant twice. You will see how we are doing it. Okay, so here 2 substituents we are having. So if I count from this side, then also it is coming 2. If you count from this side, then also it will come 2 only. So in this case, for this example, you can go for numbering from either side, whichever you feel like. Okay, so the numbering part is over. That is the second part. Now once you complete this numbering pattern, you also get, when you select the longest chain, you remember what you will get? You will get the word root. Yes. So what is the word root here? Yes. So what are the things which we require for the nomenclature? Just think. What did I say? Yes. I require the name of the substituent. Name of the substituent. Yes. Then I required the word root, right? Then I required, if prefix is there, then I required suffix. Okay, so these are the things which we require here, right? So already I got the word root. Now what is the word root from this? Prop again. Yes, prop. 3 carbons, so prop. What is the name of the substituent? Yes. So how many carbon this substituent is having? Only 1 carbon. So what is the nature of this substituent? This is alkyl group, right? This is alkyl group. Yes. So what is the name? How many carbon is there? Only 1. So we will write meth as the word root plus YL. This is the name of this substituent. So we have a common substituent in both the sides. So this is also methyl. Yes, this is also methyl. So 2 methyls we are getting here. So the name of the substituent is also done. Now what is a prefix here? Yes, in this case I will require another prefix because I have repeated the substituent, right? When something is repeated here, the same thing is repeated, then we use some prefix like for 2, if it is repeated 2, then you use di. If it is 3 times repeated, tri. Okay, if it is 4 times, tetra. These are the prefix we use when something is repeated, the same thing has been repeated twice or thrice, like that. Okay, so here we will be using one prefix is what? That is di, because 2 times methyl has been used here. And what is the suffix here? Yes, is there any double bond, triple bond in the longest chain? No, there is no double bond or triple bond is present in the longest chain. Is there any functional group present here in the longest chain? No, functional group I have not started only. So how will I give you here the functional group? So there is no question of it. Okay, so no functional group is here. So when there is no functional group, no double bond or triple bond in the longest chain in between the carbon-carbon, then what is the suffix you will use? Yes, we will use the primary suffix, that is ane. So everything whatever I require to name this compound, all I have. Now finally I will name this compound. Okay, so let's see. So what will be the name of this compound? Yes. So first you have to name the substituent, right? As the rule, you have to start with the substituent first. Okay, so we will start with the substituent. How many substituents are there? 2 substituents, right? 2 substituents. So let us start from any one substituent here. Okay, just hide it and go for this. So what is the locant here? 2. So you will write 2 here. Okay, I will give a comma because another substituent of the same type is also present. So at a time we will do. Understood? So I will give a comma. Why? Because again I will write a name. So these 2 represent, say, this substituent. Now hide this. Now these 2 represent this substituent. So another 2 again you will write. Yes? Now 2 comma 2. 2 comma 2. You have repeated the number twice. Yes, the same substituent is repeated twice. Yes, so what is the prefix I will use? Yes, di. Di, what is the name? Methyl. Dimethyl. Okay, don't leave space while writing a name. It can be very big also. It is considered as a single word only. So 2 comma 2 dimethyl. Is there any more substituent? See, these 2, you are mentioning the locants for the 2 substituents. Okay, so that is why I say that they have a different identity. You have to mention that identity here. Okay, so 2 comma 2 dimethyl meth eth prop. So what will be it? No more substituent is there, so I will write prop, that is the word root, plus what is the secondary suffix? ane. So 2 comma 2 dimethyl propane is the name of this compound. Understood all of you? Okay, so 2 comma 2 dimethyl propane will be the name of this compound. Now often I have seen that students do this mistake. They write like this, 2 methyl. Okay, again they give a hyphen, 2 methyl. Okay, then you are writing propane. Please don't do this. This is a mistake. If you are doing this, this is a mistake. So follow this order. This is a mistake. Okay, so need not to mention 2 times the same thing. Okay, at a time you are going to write it, and so if the substituents are repeated twice, okay, with the prefix, with the help of the prefix. Okay, so one more I will discuss for today, for this lecture. Obviously in the upcoming video lectures I will be bringing more and we will discuss more, but it requires time. Dear students, you need to practice. Whenever you are watching this video, please make sure that you practice this same examples with me. Okay, now let us see 1, 2, 3. Now I have increased the number of carbon here, and I mentioned 1 carbon here and another carbon at this side. Okay, now this is very important. Okay, this is another, and this is very important. Here you will learn another new thing. Okay, see, so what is the first thing you need to do? Yes, first thing we need to select the longest chain. So let this be the longest chain, right? So I have selected this as the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy way. 1, 2, 3, 4. This also you can select. 1, 2, 3, 4. This also you can select. There is no harm in selection. Okay. So after selecting the longest chain, what is the word root I am getting? 1, 2, 3, 4. So here the word root is 4. So word root is 4. C4. So what will be the word root? But, right? We write as a but we pronounce it as a but. Okay, so but is the word root I got. Is there any substituent present? Yes, there are two substituent this time also again. Okay, so how to start with the numbering? Okay, here we have a very important rule, you can say. Suppose if I start numbering from this side 1, 2, 3, 4, then let's see what happens. Students, as a rule, always keep the substituent locant minimum. The numbering should be given minimum. Okay, here I have given it 3, right? From this side, when I am numbering it from my left to right side, then I have given the third position to the substituent. Okay, what you can do is that the simplest way is to check by adding. How many substituents are there? 2. So 3 for one substituent plus this 3 for another substituent. This is known as minimum summation rule. Okay, so this is the simplest way of checking out that whether you are going in a correct direction or not. So what you can do, you add on the position of the substituent. Here this substituent is present in number 3, so I have written 3, plus another substituent is also present in 3, so I have written 3. If more would be there, then you would have shown the or followed the same process. Okay, so 3 plus 3 is 6 if I number this compound from this side, right? Now let us try from this side. Suppose I have started from 1, 2 and then 3 and then let it be 4. Okay, then what will happen? Now the substituent number has changed. Yes. So what is the number we are getting? The first locant for the first substituent here is 2. We'll add up. Another substituent locant is 2. Yes. So if I am moving from this to this direction, that means from the right to left direction, then I am getting 4 as the summation. Always go for the minimum summation. Minimum summation. Okay, that means you have to go for the minimum value. You cannot take the maximum value. This will give you the correct preference in which order you should go for numbering pattern. Understood? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here if I number this from this side, then I am giving minimum locant or minimum numbering to the substituent, right? Okay, understood this rule? Okay, so numbering also we have done. We have completed the numbering here. Okay, so once we have completed the numbering, what is the name of the substituent? These are the substituent, right? Because they are out of the long chain. Since they are out of the longest chain, so what are they known as? They are known as substituent. Now what are the nature of this substituent? Alkyl group. Okay, so how many number of carbon is present in this substituent? 1. So what will be the word root for this? Meth. Yes, for C1 we use meth. Now what is the nature of this substituent? Alkyl. So we will use YL to show that this is a alkyl group. So the name of this substituent methyl. So obviously this will be also methyl only. Okay, understood? Okay, so methyl and methyls 2 times repeated. So when something repeat, then we use prefix, di, tri, like that. Okay, now finally, is there any double bond or triple bond in the longest chain? No. Is there any functional group present in the longest chain? No. Then we will use the simplest prefix, that is the ANE. So this belongs to the alkane family. So let's write the name now. So always start with the substituent. Okay, so I have to locate the substituent. I have to mention the locant of the substituent. So what is the number? 2. Just choose any one of the substituent first. Okay, so I am choosing the top one. 2, comma. I'll give a comma because another same substituent has repeated. So I will give a comma to write 2 here again. Comma always give in between the number, never give comma in between the words or the alphabets. 2, 2, okay. After this I am going to write some alphabets, so I will give an hyphen. So 2, 2, how many times it has been repeated? Twice. So I will use a prefix di. Methyl, what is it? Methyl. So 2, 2 dimethyl. See here you are mentioned 2, 2, meaning in the 2 and another 2. So 2, 2 dimethyl. 2 methyls are present in the second carbon. Any more substituent is there? No more substituent is there. So finally, what we will write? We will write the word root. Word root we will be writing. So what is the word root? 4. So but. Now what is the suffix? Suffix always we will write at the end. So what is the suffix here? ane. So 2, 2 dimethyl butane is the name of this compound. Okay, and finally you fill it up with the hydrogen. Count and fill. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You cannot give more than 4 because carbon is tetravalent. So 1, 2, 3, 4 already it is given. So count this 1, 2, 3 and finally 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. For this also 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. So finally we see that how to write the name, the basic things today I have taught you. Okay, how to use the number with the simplest compound I have taken today. This is the first lecture, so you require time, you have to practice with me. Okay, so in the upcoming lectures I will bring the different rules or the more rules with the more example, and obviously it takes time. Again I am telling you, require practice. Okay, so if you have liked the video, thanks for watching first of all, and if you like the video you can share among your friends. Okay, so thank you all, take care, bye bye.